Okay, I had to do a second part because for some reason I tried to cancel the call that was coming in and it cut off the recording. But anyway, to continue, Venus there realizes that because it never experienced the other, she is incomplete. Okay, so for Venus to realize that completion process, it has to experience the other. And the seventh house, as you guys know, or as you probably realize by now, is the house of partnership. Is the house of relationship, because you have to do things with someone else. It's not just about you anymore. In that house, the Venus finally realized that I need to let go of the I, of the me, and embrace the we. We need to get through this thing together. We need to work together, communicate together, do things together, love one another, protect and nurture one another, communicate with each other, have resources that we could share with each other. You know, so Venus there is getting a lot deeper and more anchored in this experience, and now realizing, oh my God, I feel incomplete now that I realize the other. I want the other. I want the other in my life. I want to experience that which I do not have, that which is different from me, that would help me understand. Through the we, will help me understand the me and the I in a deeper level. Okay, so now let's go. That was just me telling you the difference of the depth of that when you go to the next depth of the air element in that sense, you know. And let's go back to the what part of the body, what part of the body, what part of the body governs that house, or the house governs. So you saw also pairings and the multiple and just the doubles in the third house. The third house, it was first the twins, and it also, as far as the body, it governs the lungs. You have two lungs. Okay, you have two lungs. Anyway, so moving on to the seventh house, it governs the kidneys also too. They come in pairs. Okay, and it governs the kidney, the skin, and the lumbar region. Ooh, I'll get to the lumbar in a minute. So let's start with the kidney. So because you learned the filtration, refinery, and how to do things and take what it is and take what is essential in the sixth house. Yeah, in the sixth house. So in the seventh house, that you've already finessed everything, you've already messed around with the intestine and get those products. And do all the purification process in the blood. All right, and in the sixth house, then you have the kidney that purifies the blood, but by filtration and removing toxin through water. It purges out the water. It balances out. Like, you need water to take, but it's not, you can't keep it all. You can't keep all the water that you ingest in the body. It goes through the cycle, pick up what is not unnecessary, pick up the dirt and the toxin and stuff like that, wash the body off, wash the bloodstream off, and then it kind of, you pee it out. It exits. So you see that there is a balance. There is a certain amount of fluid you can keep in your body, and you gotta let go of the rest. So you have to balance out the 80% of water that your body needs. You can't bring it more than that, then you start causing problem. So you see the element of balance that is very well known in the Libra energy. Okay, balance of the good and bad. You know what's enough and what's too much. You also see there isn't a whole lot of greed associated with the sixth house or the seventh house, because these houses understand that take what is necessary. And the Libra too is fairness, And then you want to take what is fair, only what is enough. And at the end of the day, I kind of want to share things with you. You give me some, I give you some. We're working together. And that energy, you see that, the Libra energy makes it the seventh house, where you're not trying to grab and go and just take all the resources, all the things. You want to work in partnership. You want everybody to have right measure. Okay, so you could bring completion not only to yourself, but completion to the other. Now that you've discovered there's other things, there's other side, there's other thought, there's other desires, there's other sexes. You discover, well, since Venus is of a feminine nature, you discover there is a masculine, and it has its purpose. It has its role. And you realize bringing that in, mastering that, brings completion to you, to that energy. Okay, and what else I could? Okay, so let's go back to the skin. So you could see the skin is protective. It's one of the largest organ you have, and it's distributed all over the place. It's like this shell that encompasses the whole thing. Okay, so you also see there's a protective nature to that as well. So we have Libra keeping things in balance for protection, because the skin, at the end of the day, what it does, it protects the whole body. Okay, and I did write something on Facebook about the Libra energy and Venus, and it's Lady of Justice, has a sword. Okay, it could say get judgment, and it could lay the law. Okay, and then we have the lumbar region, which is really, that's the lower body. You have two legs down there. You have a hip that kind of like that center post that kind of keep the two legs, at equilibrium, to keep you upright and balanced, sitting on top of the spine. Okay, without that lumbar region, you're paralyzed. You can't go places. If you have a fracture in the lumbar region of your spine, you're paralyzed. Goodbye walking, because you've lost your balance. You can't balance yourself out. You can't balance weight. You can't coordinate. So once you understand what part of the body, certain sign or certain houses govern, it helps you understand the nature of that Venus. That is why the Venus there, people who are born who have this, either who has this placement there, or if they're having a transit in that area, you would find that when you're born with the Venus in either in Libra or Venus in the seventh house, these people, on the negative side, they find themselves jumping from relationship to relationship. Is because at the end of the day, they have a sense of incompletion when they are just themselves with themselves. They need the other. There is just, you're not broken, you're not wrong. This is just what you need. Venus there desires the other, desires partnership, desires relationship. Okay, the seventh house in the broader scale is also associated with marriage. It's because that's the first time you actually get to that union. You unify there. Okay, and that's why it's associated with marriage. You marry both poles together as one in the center. Okay, now what happens after marriage is still going to be the eighth house. Because now that you've experienced, you're still new at it. You just made that connection, and you decide you're going to stick together. You're going to stay together and use the resources, the knowledge, the connection, the feelings, the love that you feel for yourself, for both parties together in balance. And then you still have to walk down the rest of the wheel with an understanding of the other. And the reason why you are at that center place, you have to merge with the other, because through the other, you understand yourself. And just thought that I have that makes me chuckle is because I read a post on Facebook, I think a week ago, that says, I mean, I don't know exactly the words, but that says, it's easy to be spiritual when you are a monk, or a priest who's just somewhere by yourself. when you're spiritual in a marriage, and with the shit that goes through just being in partnership, if you could be spiritual and keep yourself sane and centered and grounded in a state of love, that is the true mastery. Because you don't have only yourself to regulate. You have to understand that this person needs to regulate, and when it's dysregulated, it might dysregulate you. And to still manage to keep yourself centered and still be with his dysregulation, with his chaos around you, and help him through it, and not let it absorb through you and affect you, and still stay on your own bubble and still be spiritual. That is mastery. Okay, it's easy for the monk to be spiritual. What goes on in the temple, smooth and steady, not much goes on there, you know. But when you have life, you have other people's moon, you have a marriage going on and kids, and you're still able to experience spirituality and still say that, you know, you're living that life, you're about that life when you're having, yeah, that's, you're well on your way. You're getting to that mastery state. So the deeper layers here in the seventh house is just connection with the other, understanding the other. That helps you understand yourself better, and use what you know, your understanding of yourself, to understand better the other. But then you realize you need the other. People who with this Venus, they desire relationship. They don't even do very well when they're not connected with someone. The only thing is, you have to use love of self. Love of self, that's what's going to help you love other better, you know. And if you are skewed in the self-love and all the things that you learn, the communication or whatever, it's going to really make it difficult to have a steady, a healthy connection with the other. Because we all have to bring a bit, it's a balance. I bring myself whole, and that person needs to bring himself or herself whole. And we have two wholes coming together, fuse into a new one. Okay, so yeah, that's all for Venus in the 7th, and that was part 2, and I'll see you again, and Venus in the 8th house. Bye.